So welcome everyone. It's good to know. I think I am kind of overwhelmed by the response I have received on the LinkedIn. It's like more than 400 people have commented on the post, and it's good to help that many people. And I'm doing this because back in 2014, when I applied to GSoC, I got rejected because and I had no proper guidance. I had no one to look up to. I had no one. I mean, I had no idea about the Git or IRC, and this is why I'm trying to help as many people as possible. So we'll be covering few basic tips and tricks as a beginner. How can you crack GSoCs? So let's begin. And I'll quickly just introduce everyone. My name is Oh, yeah. My name is Akash. Can you see this? Something is wrong, I think. Uh,
Yeah, actually, there's some kind of scribbling over there.
okay, let's forget it. Okay, so my name is Akash. I have been involved with open source since last 4 years. I have worked at HackerRank, Zulip, and currently working at DevFolio. I've been mentoring students in GSoC, GCI, and Outreach since 2017. I love open source and I help so many people to get into open source. And we have Yatharth here, who is also a GSocer. He did his GSoC in last year in Simpai organization, and he's also a mentor. We have Sumed Nimkarde. He's also a former GSoC student. He's currently working at Rento Mojo. And yeah, so Sumit, do you want to introduce GSoC?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Sumed. Let's start with what is GSoC basically. So Google Summer of Code was started by Google in 2005 basically. So people like you, people like me, like when we are in universities, we have vacations during our summer, right? In India, generally they have 2.5 months vacations, and you don't know what to do in those 2.5 months, and you want to spend them productively, right? So Google came up with this idea in 2005 to promote open source projects, right? Everyone uses open source projects, and yeah, so that we need someone to, for the development of open source project, and why not let students spend their this time productively. And yeah, so basically it started in 2005, and it was only for university students. It is only for university students right now also. So in this program, what happens is students are paired with some mentors from the open source organizations, and they basically work for a period of like 6 months. In total, if you consider it along with your contribution and whole wrap up, it takes 6 months to work on the open source project during Google Summer of Code. Also, you get a really good chance to network with some great people out there in tech who are working on some really great projects. So all in all, it is an invaluable experience for you guys as a student. Even it was for me when I was a student back in the time. So yeah, that's what GSoC is. It's like spending your time productively during summer, learning things, networking, and growing. Akash.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's much better experience than doing an internship or learning an online course. Yeah, so yeah, this is it from the GSoC. And now the eligibility. I think these are the two main eligibility you should consider. You must be at least 18 years of age, and if you are below 18, you might consider going into Google Coding, which is for high school student. And the other requirement is you must be full or part-time college student. And these are pretty much it, I think, the main rules, and you can check out the full rules on the website. And yeah, so yeah, let's start with what is your motivation behind GSoC. So when anyone comes to me and ask that they want to do GSoC, the first thing I ask to them that why do they want to GSoC. Some might tell that the stipend is pretty good. It's like, I think previously they used to give 5,000 around, now they giving like 2,500 to Indian students. And some might say that adding GSoC in your resume carries a heavy weight. And some might say that they want to learn stuff and they want to get involved with the open source community. So I think in my opinion, your long term focus should be learning and not the stipend, or not, I mean, you don't want to add this in your resume. So I would suggest, if you are serious about the GSoC, consider this as a learning opportunity. Okay. So the next question you might be asking yourself, can I get into GSoC as an absolute beginner? I have seen so many people starting with nothing. I mean, literally, they have no idea about GSoC. They don't have much knowledge about the programming skills, but they work hard over the last 6 months. And if they can do, I think anyone can do it. So you still have 6 months, which is pretty large time, I think. And if you work hard, be consistent, you can crack. It's not that difficult. And yeah. So Sumit, do you want to talk about the steps? Anyone?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, so let's go over the steps how you can or I'll begin your GSoC journey. So the very first thing is you have to choose the organization. So Google Summer of Code, it is a program in which so I'll tell you from the beginning what happens is the organizations apply to so Google opens a timeline where the organizations have to apply themselves for being a part of Google Summer of Code, for listing of their projects out there. So organizations first apply, they are first selected, and then the roll of students comes basically. So the very first thing you will have to do is choose your organization uh, of which like you want to work, you want to be a part of, right? So after choosing an organization like involves a lot of stuff, so we'll discuss that in detail later. The second thing, so Akash, I think we should go forward with the first the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
slide.
yeah, yeah.
So choosing the organization is like it's a very, you have to think upon it a lot, because you'll be spending few months with the organization, like working on their project. Maybe even after 6 months you will be working with them, uh, not as a part of GSoC, but just for learning and mentoring other students. So yeah, choosing your organization is a big step. So the very first thing what you will do is you have to go to the organizations list, which is listed on the Google Summer of Code website. And basically what happens is, how do you know that this organization will appear there in this organization will be selected by Google in GSoC, right? So I wanted to tell that 75 to 80% of the organizations are same every year. So basically what your work would be to do is just go to the Google Summer Code site. You'll see an organization section. In that, just check out like for last a couple of years how which organizations are constant. Like if they are constant, that means it indicates that they are doing a good work, and Google is basically they will be getting chance this year too. But yeah, and some new organizations also get introduced every year to so as to give everyone a fair chance. So yeah, 75 to 80% organizations remain the same. uh, the next thing what you can do is you can choose two organizations. I mean, it's not necessary that you choose two organizations, but
But I think
I'll
it's,
tell you at the end of this. Sorry.
yeah, yeah, I think, but it's necessary to choose as the other organization as a backup, because there might be a chances where your organization might not get into GSoC, so you
Yeah.
don't want to get into that.
Yeah, I'll tell you my story. Like the same happened with me. I'll tell you at the end of this session what my experience was. But yeah, maybe you should try keeping an other organization as a backup, right? Okay. So yeah, and the last one is like interest and skills matter, right? You are spending like 6 to 7 months of time is a big period, like during a year if you consider. So yeah, if you're not interested in something, how would you spend it, like, right? So basically whatever interests you, what if certain technology interests you, if certain domain like health specific or anything that interests you, just go ahead for that. And just take a look, do some analytics, what would be good for you, what do you already know, or what you can
I
learn
think,
during the period,
yeah,
and then go for an organization.
I think it's pretty important to choose the right project based on your skills, because like if you are a JavaScript developer and if you choose a project which is Python heavy, so you might not get enough chances there. So I think you should focus on the projects which falls in your categories. Okay, I think Yatharth would like to share some info about how you can get into the community bonding period.
Yeah, sure. Is it audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, to get involved with the community is one of the, one might feel it will be a difficult task, and it is actually the foremost first task to be done. So you need to find out what the organization uses the platform for communication. There are obviously mailing lists and IRC channels that are available that the community uses for communications. Like some may use Gitter channels, even Google groups and Slack, and etc. So you should be get familiar as to what platform the organization uses. And the first thing you would be doing is you need to introduce yourself, who you are, so that the maintainers, the mentors, the everyone there would know that who you are and what you will be doing. And and uh, and start, yeah, and then start your activities. You need to look into the code base. You start solving doubts. Is if anyone comes to you to like whatever he or she faces issues, try solving their doubts. And of course, the next thing would be to solve bugs and all. You will be focusing more on solving issues, what all are there. And along with that, you can also ask the community what the features they would be willing to see in the project. So like this way you will get you need to get involved with the community as much as you can. You need to be active, you need to be
I think
appropriate.
Yatharth, communication is the biggest important point.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. You need to communicate in every
Actually,
way, and you need to be soft.
yeah,
You need
yeah,
not be harsh
yeah.
because they are very experienced developers.
Yeah, and you don't need to ping mentors every now and then that they are
Huh.
not replying. You can, I mean, you can chat in public. I think it's best to
Yes,
chat in public.
because yeah, that's so you need to be. The first thing is to get involved with the community and be active as much as you can.
Okay.
So we can get to the next slide.
Yeah, I think once you are familiar with the community, you can start contributing to the project. I think first thing you should do is check out the wiki page. I think most of the information you can find there. And once you check the wiki page, you can you can spend some time on reading and understanding the code base, because I think the what happens in the open source project, the code is pretty large, so you might get scared. Because so you don't need to get scared, because I think slowly if you spend enough time on the code base, you will get to know about everything. And you should focus on sending as many PRs as possible, but don't focus on the quality, don't focus on the quantity, sorry. You should focus on the quality of the PRs. I mean, if you are sending like 10 15 I think 10 15 small PRs versus one big PR which is a reasonable big feature, I think that will be counted. And yeah, I think you can start with fixing like typo fixing or grammatical errors, or maybe you can contribute to the documentation. And I think this is how everyone start their journey in open source. And also look into other PRs, how they are solving problems, how they are fixing bugs. Even if you can't contribute to the project, like if the code base is pretty big, you have no idea what's going on, maybe you can start with raising an issue you find while using the project. I think I said that 10 20 good PRs will increase your chance by 50%.
Yeah.
And yeah, Sumit, you want to add anything here?
Yeah, actually, I mean, so yeah, contribution comes in different ways. I feel it's not only PR. Like you can raise issues if you are not, if you are just in the phase of understanding the code base. You can take a look at another pull requests. Raise any issues if you see in their app, website, or whatever the project is. And yeah, I mean, if you're totally new, like I was back then. So I started fixing it with the documentation itself. That's how you'll gain confidence slowly, gradually, and you'll be in a position to make good PRs in no time, actually. So yeah, that's the main thing. Like you have to go slowly, not just don't get panic with other PRs that you are not understanding the code base and stuff. But yeah, but go slowly.
And one thing or more, these organizations usually have easy to fix issues.
Yeah.
So they label the issues that are, because they are too concerned about the new contributors. So they label issues that are easy to fix. So you can directly go there, look. And these are mostly documentation or typos or small changes, but that might teach
Yeah, one
you
or
a
two.
lot about the whole process. So yeah, so you can go ahead with those easy to fix labels, good first issue. There are a lot of these issues that might help you for further contributions. Yeah, that's it.
I think preparing the proposal is
Again.
is, yeah. Sumit,
No, go ahead.
okay. I think yeah, preparing the proposal is the final and last step, and some organization might not give preference to proposal. Like in Zulip, we don't consider proposal as much as the contribution. We focus more on contribution. Like if you have sent good PRs and your proposal is not that good, we'll take it, because I think for us contribution matters most. And but this differs from organization to organization. And Sumit, do you want to share your proposal experience?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So proposal is like the last step of when you're applying for GSoC. That means it needs to be good. It needs to be well formatted. So basically, what you have to look in your proposal for is it should contain, like, right from your geographical information, like where are you based, or GitHub handles, Twitter handles. Let's say another things that it should have basically a flow of how you're going to solve that problem. So basically, if an organization has listed a project on their website and you are going for a proposal on the same one, so you have to write down in your proposal that how you're going to achieve that, you know how you which technology are you going to use, why that technology you are using is better for that specific use case, and why not the other. You have to highlight all these things in your proposal. And also you need to show how the whole timeline of how you're going to split up your tasks, so that they would know that this project would be doable in 3 months. You will be able to do it properly without any rushing hard for the timelines. Also, you can include your contributions in the proposal, not for the particular org you are applying to, but also your other open source contribution that will indicate a good mark to the organization you are applying for, right? So yeah, your proposal should be, run it through Grammarly or anything. Just you have to make sure that there are no grammatical mistakes, like whatever, like fine things you can do, you should be doing it, because that's the last step which is in your hand, after which you just have to wait for the result, basically.
So yeah.
And you need one more
So
thing.
let's
Yeah.
see, I'll summarize. Okay, Yatharth, go ahead.
No, I was just adding to your point that you need to just start. You need to draft your proposal beforehand, and you need to ask for feedback, because the mentors will
Yes,
be there.
correct.
Yeah, the mentors will be there, who might even guide you that what actually they want, and they might also help you in your framing your proposal to so that it will be better. You might have a better chance of getting accepted then. So you need to share it and draft. You can draft it and share it in the channels so that you can have a proper feedback. So
Yes, yeah, good. Actually, you should communicate with the mentors
as much as
oftenly, right? I mean, yes, I mean, you can tell them whatever you did today, or whatever I mean, in a couple of days, what are you gonna do? How you're gonna do this kind of thing? If you keep telling your mentors, you keep taking feedback from them, it helps a lot. Also, like proposal, the early you submit the proposal, that's better. because you get feedback early, you can make changes early, and make it fine as much as possible. So I think these are the 4 steps that you should follow. And Akash, if you permit, I'll quickly revise four of them for everyone. So yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. So the very first thing is we want to choose your organization properly, like considering all the points, your interest, last year
Okay.
how
Yeah.
much slots did the organization gets and stuff. Second thing is join their communication channel. Their channel is listed over the Google Summer of Code website. Whatever it is, Gitter, IRC, or let's say whatever they are using, Slack. Just join, introduce yourself. There are people, everybody, like there are people like you there who are ready to help. So you won't be getting any issues there. Just be polite and humble over there. The third thing is you just have to choose a project whichever interests you, and yeah, start contributing whatever the minor contribution it is. And the last is whenever the timeline opens for the proposal, just look at the other proposals, like the good ones, elaborate your whole project, how you're going to do that, and just submit it, take feedback and then submit it. That's basically the short 4 steps of uh, applying for GSoC. Can we get a show of hand that we are like proper with the audio till now? And uh,
Yeah, I think
yes, okay, cool, we got it.
proper.
Yeah, great. So yeah, Akash, what do you?
Yeah, I think here are the some tips and tricks you can use. Like this is the lesson we have learned over the last 3-4 years that you should focus on. Like
Yeah.
don't yeah. I think Sumit wants to share your experience that you were doing the
Uh,
internship.
yeah, I
With
mean,
GSoC.
there are a lot of, yeah, let's start with my experience, or
Yeah, yeah,
Yatharth, or I'll go ahead.
yeah.
So
Okay,
what
sure.
happened was I started, so I was in my second year, and I got to know about an organization called jQuery Foundation from one of my seniors. He had done GSoC in that organization. So I also started contributing to that organization from, let's say, October and this period only. And I did it till February, thinking that, so the image was in my mind like this organization is going to apply for GSoC and stuff. But at the end moment, I got a message from one of the team, one of the members of jQuery Foundation, that hey, we are not applying for GSoC this year. If you want to apply for GSoC, you should go ahead and check out some other org. So yeah, that was like, so the organizations were announced after a couple of days, and it was only a month for me to uh, make contributions or do whatever to get into GSoC. To the deadline was in 1 month, and I just chose an organization randomly. I mean, I got the projects set up. So my organization was Force Asia. I got the project set up in a day, and then went ahead and did some contributions. So I started fixing small issues, one liners or two liners. After which I jumped to another moderate issues. So basically in 15 to 20 days I managed to make like 15-16 pull requests. So that was very crucial period for me. Like I had to set for the whole day, but I had to get that done. But yeah, I managed to pull it off in those 15-20 days. Then I wrote a proper proposal, and also make sure your proposal has proper diagrams, what you're going to achieve, like what you want to do with the project and stuff. So that helps in like visuals always help in understanding the proposal better. So yeah, I did a lot of stuff there and submitted the proposal. And even after submitting the proposal, I will suggest you guys to keep contributing. That indicates that you guys are interested in the project actually, and not like wait for the result directly, because the results come after I think a month. And at that time you can also keep on contributing, and it's like you just go on contributing and wait for the results. So yeah, I waited, and then I got selected. So that was my basically story. And internship, yeah, also I did internship at HackerRank. So I got internship also at HackerRank that summer. So I thought I would do it properly, properly in the sense, yeah, I did it properly. But the thing is, if you're doing two things simultaneously, then there are a lot of chances that you cannot give 100% to each of them. So if you want to do that, then you'll have to work 16 hours a day. That's like a
Mhm.
lot, and you may end up burning out. So I don't want anyone to be in the state that I was at that time. So yeah, I mean, if you so it's like if you're in third year, I mean, if you it totally depends on your priorities, if you want to do GSoC or the internship. It's totally up to your priorities, but yeah, that was basically my experience with GSoC. But I managed to pull off internship plus GSoC at that time. But yeah, that's basically was my experience. And I will like ask Yatharth how he if he can elaborate how every organization is different, and you know how it matters. Like every organization has different criteria, and everything depends on organization in GSoC. It's not like organizations are same. Yatharth?
Yeah, I would talk about my organization. I actually also started late. I got to know about the GSoC a bit late while I was in third year, and because not much of my seniors were uh, like into the GSoC, so I got to know about GSoC very much late, and about 1 month before I got to know, and then just I just went to the page and just sorted out what or which organization I will match my like technical aspects. So at that time I was learning Python, so I thought why not go with Python projects. So that is how I chose SymPy. And then obviously at the in 2017 I was not able to make it to the GSoC because I didn't had much quality PRs, because most of my PRs were documentation, typos, and minor changes, issue fixes. So yeah, so I was not able to make it in 2017. Although I prepared a nice a decent proposal, I did everything I had knowledge of, but still I was not able to make it through. But yeah, I just continued contributing to the projects, whatever I wish to enhance into the software and everything. I just kept contributing, and the next year when I did, I luckily I was accepted this time. And one more thing that I realized that choosing the mentors, if the mentors aren't available, you need to keep that in mind too, because if you're choosing a particular project, you need to make sure that the mentors are available for that, because the module in which I proposed, there was only one mentor available. And this may be the reason the first time I was rejected, because I had a very little experience, and I had only and the project had only one mentor. So but the second time I had a greater experience. I had contributed a lot. I had around 25-30 PRs already merged, and most of them were quality PRs. And even then also I had only one mentor, but I had a better experience. So I just want to say that you need to be sure that the proposal has got a mentor, because there are chances that your project, even though your proposal is good, the proposal might not get selected. So this is how I ended up getting into GSoC.
And Yatharth, how was your experience transitioning from student to mentor?
Yeah, so in 2018 I was the student,
Yeah.
and in 2019 I mentored a student of the module in which I did the work. So he actually extended what the work I had left.
Mhm.
So the experience was great, because I knew a lot of stuff about that particular module, and I would say I was pretty much okay in handling all of the difficulties that he faced. So the transition was smooth, and I was able to cope up with all the difficulties that he faced. And we had weekly meetings and all, and that
Mhm.
made things quite easy.
Yeah.
So uh, once you had an experience, so it won't matter the difficulty won't be that much while you will be doing the summer project. So yeah, the transition was smooth and it was good.
Yeah.
That's it.
And in the end,
Cool.
I
I
just
think I mean,
yeah, yeah, Sumit?
sorry.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. I was asking just like, can you tell us your experience, how you got to know about Zulip? I mean, your story is also interesting. We'll let everyone, like, I think we should let everyone know that too.
Yeah, sure. So I applied to Mozilla back in 2014 when I was in second year, but I was rejected. But I never stopped contributing to open source, and then I reapplied to Zulip in 2015, but then I rejected again. It's because they don't have enough slots. So you should also consider checking the slots given to the organization. And yeah, but I keep contributing to the project, and they hire me full time, and I work there for like 3 years, and it's been an awesome learning experience. So yeah.
So yeah, that's what. I wanted to tell everyone one thing, that things can go wrong. Always, like, I mean, things which are intended to go wrong will go wrong. But yeah, all you have to do is keep contributing. Actually, my case was also like, if after second year, after Force Asia, I also applied to another org in my after my third year as a student. It was like 5 days were there for like announcing the results of Google Summer of Code, and the mentor and I communicated, and he liked my proposal. The whole organization liked the proposal, and they were about to. I was about to get announced in GSoC as a student for that year, but then at the end moment, my name wasn't there. So things can go wrong. It all depends on how much slots the organization gets. They have full liberty to move any project, any site. That's why we decided, like, we told you to keep another organization in your hand, but not more than 2 to 3 organization. That's a lot. That's a limit. So yeah, these you can see all the tips and tricks on your screen. Like, just choose 2 to 3 organizations, submit your proposals as early as possible to get feedback. Do not copy anyone's proposal, because organization can detect that. I mean, it's clearly visible that you have copied, and yeah, that's not a good notion in open source world. So yeah, do not do that, and check organization details like slots, and everything depends on organization. Some organizations are strict also, some are like chilled out also, that you can enjoy a lot during your GSoC, but then you know you have to keep doing your work whatever organization you get. uh, yeah, be polite and humble in the community. Your communication should be good, especially like when you are working as a student in Google Summer of Code. You're working remotely, right? And in remote work, you have to keep your text communication also like good. So yeah, keep your communication good. And yeah, that's all from like my side. Also, Akash, what are we gonna do next?
I think yeah,
So yeah,
let's
if you
go.
guys have any questions, just let us know in the chat box.
Yep. Does anyone have any questions or anything they want to ask?
We got a question. What happens if a person fails after his first evaluation round? Okay. Do you want to go, Akash or Yatharth?
Well, if he fails the first evaluation, and then he fails the whole GSoC.
Yeah.
He will.
Yes.
Nothing much more than that. He
Yeah.
won't be. What do you say? He won't be further able to participate. But
I think this honestly this doesn't happen usually. But if
usually
you are
doesn't happen.
but if you are performing really poor, like you are not active on the group or something like that, you are not contributing or you are not listening to mentors, so they'll eventually fail. But it doesn't happen more often, I think.
Because the organizations are a bit lenient about like failing. They just
Yeah,
see that the intent is right, the activeness is right. That means like even if you even if your project that you have proposed, if it even if it is not completed,
yeah.
or if it is lagging behind the timeline,
Mhm.
but you are intending, you are showing that it will be going to it will be finished somehow. If you're able to show the intent, that actually matters the most. So even if your project is lagging behind, even if you're not up to the mark, but yeah, that won't matter much.
Yeah,
But if they see if you have failed, then you have failed, then you cannot do much.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you can even not mention that you were a Google Summer of Code student. Only if
You'll be
yeah.
receiving the
only
certificate.
if you are passing. Yeah, yeah. Only if you are like passing three evaluations, then only you can mention somewhere that you did
Huh.
GSoC.
Okay.
Like if you have failed in second evaluation, you will be receiving the first evaluation stipend, but you won't be eligible for the certificate.
Yeah. The second question is, can we do GSoC
Yeah,
after just
definitely.
first year? Yes, definitely. You can do even in first year. I've seen students doing GSoC in first year, second year. So yeah. The second one.
Do we need to learn web development on Android to participate in GSoC and doing open source? I mean, this is a wider question.
I think it depends on the organization you choose. Like if you are choosing uh, mm, there is an organization called LibreOffice. I think
LibreOffice. Yeah.
yeah, I think they mainly work on the Android part. So
Hello?
if you yeah, so
So,
if you know Android, they can you can choose that organization. But if
so
you
there
know
are organizations that are doing on Android web development. So it's up to you that what you choose,
I think
because
you can also filter based on your skills, right?
yeah,
Right, Yatharth?
yeah, there's a search option. Yeah, you can just type Android,
Yeah.
and the organizations will be listed because they have their tags with them,
Okay.
like what all technologies they use. So the search works with the filter.
Yeah. The second question, do we need to know everything about our project before starting GSoC, or we can learn in the process of it? You don't need to learn anything. I would say anything. I mean, you can just start and you can learn along the way. I think you can learn everything. And
Yeah, I mean, in the process, you can,
yeah,
your work would be even like on a small part of your project. This may happen. Like if the project is big, then your work would be on a small part. So not necessary that you know from starting. Obviously, we didn't know. No one knows actually. You start at some point. So yeah, it's not necessary to know about the project. You will learn. You'll actually get to know automatically when you start working on that.
but I think
You
you
just
need to spend enough time on the project.
yes,
Yeah, I
correct.
think you need to.
That
Project
is
as well
why
as the channels,
Yeah,
communication channels also. Yeah.
that is why they see your quality PRs, because they are the basis of what you can actually do. Means that
Mhm.
shows your experience. See whether
Yeah.
you will be able to achieve the project that you have proposed or not. So that is the reason why the quality PRs are important. That's
Correct.
yeah.
is it fine to start with programming language like C, C++?
Totally fine.
Yeah, you can even I
Absolutely.
think if you know C, C++, you might contribute to KDE or something.
Yeah,
Yeah. See,
KDE, Envoy Proxy. There are a lot of organizations like
my
they
my, my
run C, C++
organization,
projects.
my that Senpai, I you just need to have Python as the knowledge, and the whole project is written in pure Python and nothing else. So there are certain organizations that are just written in pure programming languages. So you can definitely go ahead and choose what you like the most.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. Like there are a lot of organizations which have projects on C, C++. So no problem in starting with that.
So yeah, the next question: what is the right time to start researching about organization for contributing? You can start
Right
right
now,
away.
yeah.
Right now, yeah.
You can look, although the GSoC 2020 hasn't been announced yet,
But
but it is going to happen because in the Mentor Summit they announced.
yeah,
Yes,
I
they are
think
all. I
timeline is also similar for each year. So
almost it's one day here and there, not
yeah,
much. You
yeah,
can choose look at the organizations from the past 2 to 3 years. You can select those organizations that have been consistent and with the getting selected, and you can go through their projects, and yeah, you can start researching anytime you want. But make sure it's well before the time of the submitting the proposal, and because you have to contribute there, you have to learn the code base method, and then you have to make quality PRs issues. So it's well
Okay.
before.
So I have received one question privately. It's what if we have other commitments like exam during GSoC period? Do they consider that? Yeah, I think you just need to mention that from this period your exam will be held. So you just need to mention this in your proposal, and it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, they will understand. Like
Yeah,
even the holidays,
yeah, yeah.
when they will be starting, because most of the time we will be at the community bonding period. We will be having our exams, the final
Mm.
exams.
But I think you need to be honest
Mhm.
with the
Yeah, you need to be honest. You need to be clear that
yeah.
like from this date to this date I will have my exam, and from the next day I will be starting my work on the project. So you need to be clear. The mentors are understanding. Yeah. Question.
Okay, how many quality peers do we need? Actually, so this is like everything, as I said, like it depends on the organization also. So some organization, like my organization, I generally the number of PRs people would make was huge. So I had to make like 15, 20 PRs to pass up that mark. But I have seen people who have made some quality PRs like only 1 and 2, but that was a big feature, or a good feature basically. So yeah, that matter, that everything depends on what project is and organization is.
Also,
You
I
cannot
think quality
uh,
matters.
yeah, quality of the PR matters than the quantity.
Yeah.
So if you are providing some value, if your PR is providing a lot of value, then yeah, why not? 1 or 2 PRs also, yeah, 5, 6 PR also would do good for you.
Okay.
Approximately how many slots do organization have? Okay,
I think it depends. Like if
depends. Yeah.
yeah, if a organization is pretty new, they'll mostly get 2 3
2,
slots.
3 slots,
And
yes.
like, but I think Force Asia, it's pretty old. They
It's yeah. So basically, what happens with Fossil, it all depends on the feedback. Also, like basically,
yeah,
feedback of students,
organization.
GSoC students. So
Yeah.
yeah.
There are lots
So
of
if
factors.
your organization is very strict, yeah, a
Mhm.
lot of factors. If your organization is strict, it's like if the culture is toxic in any organization, then students may also report that organization to
Mhm.
Google,
Yeah.
because Google also has a feedback form at the end of your evaluation, that how was your experience and stuff. So if you are not like if collectively the feedback is bad, then they will also reduce slots for the next year for that organization. So yeah, but majorly if any organization, 8, the moderate number if you would ask me would be 8 to 10. At
Yeah.
8 to 10, yeah, that's what I
Nice.
would say.
Yes.
How to know if organization is right for us? If you don't, yeah. Yatharth, would you like to go for this? How to know if an organization is right for us?
Well, right for us. Well, it totally depends on what you actually want to do, what
I
you
think
see.
yeah, I think if you don't have any preference, I would say
You,
focus on if the community is welcoming, if the mentors are good, how helpful they are,
but
how
in some point of time, you need to have a preference. Like
yeah, yeah, I think
you
so.
will be taking a particular language or a particular framework or something. You will be taking it that you will be having a project on.
Hmm.
So you need to have your preference at least at some point of time.
Okay.
I feel like that. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. Because
And
I took, like in my case, I took Python as my basis, and
hmm,
with Python only I select or chose all those organizations that work on Python and some other tools. So I got a lot of organizations that work with Python, and of those organizations I chose one of them. So you need to have some preference, because there are lots of organizations.
and
So yeah, the next question.
How do you define a PR in terms of good quality?
I think it's
Uh,
subjective.
It's a
yeah.
lot subjective.
Yeah.
Good quality means like if it is a feature that
I
is
think if
of
you are adding a feature which was like most demanded, like people are asking for that feature like for 6 months or a year, and if you are working on that, if you have open PR for that, that might consider as a good quality PR, I think.
Like I would say what is not a good quality PR,
Yeah.
like typos,
Yep.
documentation fixes,
Mm-hmm.
and very easy bug fixes. So these will be those PRs that won't fall in a good quality PR, and rest of them will, they might fall, like Akash said.
Yeah.
Major feature change, like an issue that has been prevailing for a long time, and none of them has been able to solve that, and you solved that, and it has solved a lot of other problems. So that will be a good, obviously a good quality PR. So yeah, you just need to figure out, although
How
it
much
is,
impact it makes, yeah, basically.
yeah, how much impact it makes, that is what actually a good PR is.
Yeah, and it's not like you are. It's good to fix documentation and typos, but it's not like you make 20 PRs to get into GSoC for documentation only. So
But
yeah,
that won't make you through the GSoC.
Okay. Let's assume
yeah,
just basic knowledge of the programming language. Should we still try in GSoC? Yes,
yes, why not?
definitely. Definitely, I think.
I mean,
Basic knowledge, you will be having basic knowledge, and then while having a lot of contributions, you'll obviously get to an intermediate level, and then
yeah,
further.
I mean, GSoC is a good chance of increasing your that basic knowledge, whatever you call it. But yeah, I feel, yeah, you should definitely try it.
Because the aim of the
Why
GSoC,
not?
is this only, to improve and increase more and more new contributors.
Yeah.
So if you want to get from have intermediate knowledge, you can definitely go with GSoC. You need to try GSoC.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have any other questions?
And if are you satisfied with our questions? Answers, sorry.
Yeah.
So if you are not
Yeah, I
satisfied,
mean,
ask
yeah, let us know.
if you are not satisfied.
Also, like if you guys want to communicate somehow, I think we have, like, I have my Twitter DMs open.
Yeah, same here. LinkedIn, you can uh, DM
Or
me.
Twitter. Let's just mention our Twitter handles. Okay, wait. We got a question
Yeah.
here. Was it difficult for you when you started with open source, and how you managed to overcome it? Difficult in the sense. See, all
Yeah.
good things take
I
time. Actually,
I think,
uh,
yeah, for me personally, it was difficult. I made an account on GitHub in 2013 or something. Then I tried to contribute, but it
mhm.
was, I mean, too big. I think the open source world is too big. So I was kind of lost. Then I stopped trying. Then I again started contributing to open source back in 2015. Then I slowly got used to it. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you have people around you telling you
yeah,
how to go with it, then it won't be difficult for you. So yeah, that's what we experienced during our college days, and we started, like, we decided to do this. A lot of people were asking for the session, I mean, for a lot of questions. So I hope we guys covered most of them, and I hope you guys got your answers.
yeah.
So
And
yeah, I mean,
yeah, we'll be taking more session on open source, GSoC and Git if you are interested. And please join the community if you have any doubts or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Let's mention our Twitter handles also here if you guys have any questions. So
yeah, you can
maybe
just,
could
yeah.
DM us.
Okay, mine is